Dave, don't say I never get anything for your birthday. I just brought Chris Jericho in the studio for you.
Yo, you got me Chris Jericho.
I came here specifically for LaGreca's birthday.
See?
I heard about it, and I said I have to come down here. And I knew he was going to have a clown for his party, and I said I can't allow that. So I came in myself. I don't know any magic, but I'm just here. So
you
it's good.
You did some magic with Ryback last night.
Yes.
What a segue. You fed for me perfectly there, LaGreca. Thank you.
Fed. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a little wrestling talk for you.
Listen, you're going to be on Liquid Metal tomorrow and Thursday with Jose.
Yes.
And then you're taking over Ozzy's Boneyard this weekend.
Yeah, it was great because we had like 10 minutes in the studio where Al Roker was supposed to come in. So he just goes, let's do it. So we got Al Roker's people watching us, like, get out of there. And we're like, okay, we're going to play Metallica next. And then now we got some Avenged Sevenfold next. Just totally off the fly. Just like called it all in the ring, buddy. While Al Roker's heavies watched us to try and muscle us out of the studio, but we got it done.
So when does you have its tour coming up? When does that start?
Well, the tour technically starts in Europe on August 3rd. We do a festival there called Wacken, which is like the WrestleMania of German heavy metal. There'll be about 70,000 people at that one. We do 3 weeks in Europe, and then September 12th we start in the States with legendary Saxon. And that'll start in Long Island. Then we go all the way through to like October 10th in Vancouver, and then kind of continue on from there. So much to the chagrin of many of your people, I am taking a leave from the WWE to go back on the road with Fozzy.
And you played with Metallica, and now you're playing with a legend like Saxon. I mean, that's amazing.
Well, it's great. I mean, the thing is, we played with Metallica in February. We're touring with Anthrax this summer in Europe, doing the Saxon tour. We did Avenged Sevenfold last year. Bullet for My Valentine last year. So we've gotten some really big bands to kind of be supporting, and it's been growing. It's like anything else. The more time and effort you put into it, start building the fan base and hit the road. That's how you got to make it with a band nowadays, just by playing shows. And we've done a lot of road work overseas, and we did, Uproar last summer, and then heading out with Saxon this summer, playing places like BB King's or playing the House of Blues in Los Angeles. They're nice rooms and good places for us to get in there. So it's all part of building the brand. It's been really working over the last few years. Sin and Bones was a big hit for us, #1 on the Billboard Heatseeker charts, and Sandpaper was on the Biggins on Octane for like 12 weeks, I think it was. So it's really, really cool to see the band growing in size and having, the fans just getting more and more behind us.
Are you starting to get more recognized as a rock star more than a wrestler now?
It's just more as Chris Jericho.
Okay.
I mean, over the last 10 years, I've really spent a lot of time building the brand of Chris Jericho. And I never thought of myself as just a wrestler. I always thought of myself as an entertainer. Because when I started wrestling in 1990, it was still the land of the giants. And, when I started in Calgary, I was a small guy. And how could I ever make it in wrestling? Well, I decided I have to be the biggest personality on the show, have the most charisma, be the biggest character, even if I wasn't the biggest physically in stature. And that's how I made it. And then, was fortunate enough to go to Japan and Mexico, where size didn't matter as much. But then when I came back to the States, and let's be honest, size still matters. It always will. That's Vince's edict. It's Triple H's edict. I had to do something different. So it was always about the personality in the show business. And that's why, anybody that knows my story, I wanted to be in a rock band and I wanted to be a wrestler. Fine. I really focused on that, but also doing, the hosting gigs I've done and Dancing with the Stars and hosting my radio show and all this other things that I've done. It's all about the brand of Chris Jericho. So there's a lot of people that know me from wrestling. Obviously, that's great. A lot know me from Fozzy. A lot know me from Dancing with the Stars. I get people all the time. I do a lot of kids like, you're the guy from Robot Combat League. I mean, kids love that show.
Yep.
So I mean, whatever it takes, as long as the name Chris Jericho is on people's lips, that's what I like to do. And I really felt it's enabled me to kind of come and go from the WWE whenever I have to. Because I'm able to go out and do other things.
Are you surprised how big Fozzy has gotten since you took over from Mongoose McQueen?
Yeah, that's so funny. We did that for like a year and a half in like 2000, 2001, but people still remember, which is cool. But I mean, it doesn't surprise me because I know that we have a great rock and roll band. We put on a great show. We've got great songwriters in the band. So it was just a matter of committing and doing it. And, I've been wrestling 23 years. I'm 42 years old. I think this year, 2013, is probably one of my favorite years. I don't know what it is, but I just seem to have been on a roll, not to pat myself on the back, but I think I've had some really great performances.
Well, I think your match at Payback with Punk is match of the year so far.
Thanks.
I totally agree
I
with you,
appreciate that. And that was literally, if you guys want to know the story, kind of got there and talked to Punk a little bit, never talked to him once. The whole time for the build-up or anything.
Wow.
Until I saw him that day. And I remember, I think it was the girls' match was on right before us, and we were still kind of going through what we wanted to do, and that's when it really started clicking in. So that was basically, called 30 minutes to an hour beforehand.
Wow.
And just kind of made up a lot in
That's
there.
unbelievable.
And so moments like that, it's like you have this experience, you can't teach experience. And I think that's why I'm able to work with, Curtis Axel and Ryback and Punk and Ziggler and all these guys every week, whoever they put me in there with, and they've been a lot of fun because I have that experience. So, but also too, I think it's important for me to take time away because, I don't know, I've seemed to be pretty bulletproof, but after 23 years of taking bumps, I could probably just explode in a puff of dust at any time. So it's good to have that time away to kind of rejuvenate, and mentally too. So I know a lot of fans don't like it, but tough luck. I'm happy to be doing as much as I've been doing. I worked 80 shows this year. That's like 8 times as many as The Rock and Brock Lesnar did. So they're not complaining about those guys. So
Definitely
don't complain about me.
You talked about CM Punk. You had great chemistry with him.
Yes.
How does that work? Because CM Punk obviously has great chemistry with John Cena. Yet when it came time for The Rock, it kind of fell flat, I thought. Mm-hmm. How do you build chemistry like that?
You don't build it. Chemistry is what it is. It's a natural thing that just happens. I remember years ago in Japan, there was a guy called Koji Kanemoto, and people were raving about how great he was, and I could never have a good match with him. Never. It was always never never great. So other guys, you just have that certain chemistry. I have chemistry with Curtis Axel. We worked 3 matches over the last week, 1 in Japan and 2 on TV, and I thought all of them were great matches and just clicked. Some guys you just have a connection with that you just really have that style with, and Punk's another one of those guys. He came up the same way that I did, and always just from the moment we started working back in 2007, we had good chemistry, and now that we're both at completely different levels, it just means more focuses on the matches, but the matches that we've had have always been good. So it's just lucky you find those type of people, and when you find them, it's just a lucky star.
7 months ago, we were having a discussion about Ryback. You actually called in and joined in on the conversation because I thought he was the next guy. Thought it was time
so did I,
for a change, and people were bitching and moaning about Ryback, and then. He got away from those Goldberg chants. He got the crowd behind him. My daughter's in the studio today, was a big Ryback fan. What the hell did they do to Ryback?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. The WWE is a strange world sometimes because it's all based around what Vince wants. And to me, it's like if they didn't go all the way with Ryback, 3-4 months ago, they have to do something different with him now because he's done it. He did the thing with Punk. He didn't win. He could have, but for whatever reason, he didn't. He did the thing with Cena as a heel. He didn't win. He could have, but they didn't for whatever reason. So now, I was explaining this to a couple guys. Wrestling is like a cycle. If you're the guy, like John Cena is, you're on top, and challengers work their way up the ladder to face you. Mm-hmm. That's the basic, the idea behind wrestling. Once you face the champion, and if you do not win, you go to the back of the line and work your way back up the ladder again. That's how it works. That's how wrestling is. And I think Vince wanted to try something different with Ryback. And I think people, once again, are like, oh, he beat Jericho with a roll-up. Oh, we hate it. You're supposed to hate it. He's a heel.
Yeah.
And if he's not giving you what you want, that's what a heel does. And I think, I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming he might start something with Vicky Guerrero. If they put him with Vicky, that's, you'll see the build of Ryback back up in this different image, and it's either going to work or it's not. And if it doesn't work, guess what? Put him in 2 or 3 weeks of killing guys again, and he's Ryback again. So I think Vince wants to add dimension to the character, and I think he's going to get it because I know how Vince is, and I know when he gets an idea in his head, he goes with it until he decides not to, and then he changes direction. But I think you have to change up things once you get to the back of the line after you've had your challenge in that position as a heel.
So it's just a matter of him just riding the wave then.
Yeah, but he has to embrace it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It can work. I mean, anything can work. He just has to feel it and go with it. And I think if he does something with Vicky Guerrero, people do not want to see him in this role. They don't want to see him as a chicken
Cryback.
They don't want to see Cryback,
Yeah.
Which is where the heat is. I mean, when I changed from Y2J to Chris Jericho in 2008, the hypocrite guy, I stopped wearing long tights. I got rid of the countdown. I stopped with the Y2J, stopped with the highlight reel. People were mad at me. We want to see this. We want to see the countdown. We want to see your tights. Why aren't you doing it? Because I don't want anyone to like me anymore. I want to take away everything that you liked about me and change it. And it worked. People were legitimately pissed off at me, and that's why they started to hate me.
All right, last question, because I know you got to go. You got Raw tonight.
Yes.
At the Barclays Center. Sgt. Pepper or Pet Sounds?
Sgt. Pepper.
Not even close?
Not even close. I like the Beach Boys, but the Beatles are my all-time favorite band.
Thank you. And tell him to stop playing Crocus in the studio, please.
Why? Crocus-
Crocus is awesome.
One of our favorite songs that
on.
we still do live once in a while is "Eat the Rich."
Yeah,
That was
Dokken,
one of our
I like
first-
on the
Dokken,
first
but-
album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was never a big Dokken fan either.
See?
You know, I was never. I was more of a thrasher guy, like the Metallica, Maiden type guys. When it came to the party rock, I was all Scorpions and Van Halen.
Yeah, I gotta go with Van Halen.
Which you're wearing your very
Yeah,
nice
dude.
5150s.
I'm
yeah.
getting killed for wearing the Starcade t-shirt. It's the only shirt that I had that went with my
matches.
sneakers.
Matches,
Thank you.
yeah.
See, if you had a striper shirt,
Right.
you could match with the black and yellow. The LaGreca's yellow and black attack, baby.
Chris, thanks so much.
No,
for
we're
coming in.
excited. You
Appreciate
guys
it.
excited about the Barclays Center?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
first
first
time
time.
there.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've never been there before.
I heard it's very easy to get to, and driving in's not a problem.
I know, but I think from what I've heard, and things changed quite a lot. But I think you guys are going to see a match. If the match that I heard that I'm doing tonight happens, I think you guys are going to be really, really happy and excited about it.
Ooh,
So
can't
let's
wait.
leave it at that.
Ooh, nice little tease.
Little
I like
teaser
it.
there for you.
I like it. We'll see you down the road, Chris.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
appreciate it.
Thanks.